don't know who's going to be the president, but Trump's promising a 10% tariff across the board, which is a giant tax increase on American consumers. Everybody's going to fight China. A Biden presidency is going to fight China. A Trump presidency is going to fight China. The question is, what about the other countries? The frustration for me is neither of these two presidents want to do trade agreements. We should have done TPP, in my opinion. It's a very good China policy. But neither Trump or Biden are proposing any trade agreements. Trump's proposing across-the-board tariffs. Biden's not proposing that, but he's not also proposing to get new agreements to get new markets for our products, our goods and services. And if you're standing still on trade, you're falling behind because all the other countries are going around the world getting their own preferential multilateral and bilateral trade agreements, leaving us on the outside looking in. So you can't just stand still on trade, but unfortunately that's what we're doing, and that's what, frankly, both these guys are proposing to do.
Third thing you mentioned was debt crisis, potential debt crisis for the next president, whoever the next president is. Take us through that. I mean, we've all been talking about the debt and the deficit, how much it's growing. Everybody says it's a problem. Nobody does anything about it. It hasn't really come home to roost yet, it doesn't seem.
It hasn't come home to roost, but again, I'm a fan of neither of these guys running for president because both of them are demagoguing the issue. In their primaries, they campaign against people who propose solutions. They're demagoguing entitlements. They're basically saying they're not going to do anything. And doing nothing, by the way, just so you know, makes Medicare go insolvent, makes Social Security go insolvent, hurts today's current seniors. Fixing this problem shores up the finances for these programs so that current seniors can get the promises that are due them and then solve it for the next generation so we don't have a debt crisis. What's a debt crisis look like? Bond auction failures. I mean, it's not inconceivable that once the Fed's done cutting rates and people aren't buying bonds as readily, and you've got U.S. and all these other industrialized countries with the same problems, aging baby boomers, entitlement programs unfunded, papering this, floating all this paper in the world markets, you could have an oversupply of bonds, and it's not inconceivable in my mind in a handful of years, next presidency, an auction or two fail, and then the Fed steps in and buys our paper, and then they're really monetizing debt. That's bad for the dollar. That's bad for dollar dominance. That's an interest rate problem. We're already on track to spend more on interest payments than we are for national defense. And regrettably, none of these guys are proposing anything about it who are running for president. There are good people in Congress that are proposing solutions. There's bipartisan support for a fiscal commission, but you have neither Trump or Biden saying they're going to do anything about this. So I think the next president has a reasonable chance of having a debt crisis on their watch.
We hear from time to time about the bond vigilantes coming back. Haven't seen them yet. At least I haven't seen them.
No, but that doesn't mean they don't exist.
But how much of that is because actually sort of the geopolitical conflict around the world actually drives us back to the U.S. dollar? It makes us the safe haven.
Yeah, like right now, we're seeing some strong dollar policy because of the world. I think that's obviously the base case, but it is until it isn't. And if we're pushing so much paper, if we have so much bonds we have to float to finance our deficit, our interest payments, and all the other first world countries are doing the same, therein lies the problem. If the world concludes that America is not going to get its fiscal house in order, not going to get these entitlements under control, then they're going to conclude we're going to monetize our debt. And there goes dollar dominance. That's an exorbitant privilege that benefits us greatly. We're not acting like a world reserve currency. We should. And this, to me, is the biggest fiscal challenge the next president's going to have to confront. And I wish I could say somebody's got a plan for this. Neither of them do. That's what's so frustrating for me.